Good morning, everybody. We're here for cardio. It's about 5:30 a.m. Finishing up my coffee. I love doing cardio right after leg day. It's a little bit of a test of mental toughness because your legs are feeling fatigued and sluggish. Mine are definitely destroyed right now, but you got to keep going. And, the first 3 to 5 minutes are kind of brutal, but then it wears off and you're just fine. So don't always listen to how you feel. It's important to respect, am I too tired? Should I take a rest? Most of the time, though, the answer is probably no. And then after that, I'll be going pretty much back to back all day. It's a rest day, fortunately, given my schedule. I'll be going back to back from 7 to 6:30 between patients and clients. I distinguish between the two. Patients are obviously people seeking clinical care. Clients would be personal training sessions. So it's nice. I get a good mix throughout the day, which keeps things really interesting for me. Super busy day, really humpy Wednesday. It's a big old hump day, and we're going to get after it. So we'll see you in a bit. Cheers. Good morning. So we got Bryan here, the big dog himself, the only man to make me feel like I'm late every single day. So we just did some lower body training, and Bryan's a really inspiring guy. He's been on quite the journey with his health and fitness. So Bryan, if you want to tell them
Sure.
what you've been through and where you're going.
5 years ago, February, right before Valentine's Day, I had an aortic aneurysm. Just felt something in my chest, got up to open the door for the paramedics and collapsed on the floor. Wasn't able to get up or move. Took me to the hospital. I thought it was a heart attack. They kept wheeling me around. I'm saying, Jesus, people, come on, it's just a heart attack. Get me, do something. Well, it was worse than that. So missed all of Valentine's Day. Woke up the next Saturday around noon and decided then and there I need to do something different. I've lost 75 pounds, and with Alex's help and encouragement.
But mostly your hard work.
Mostly my hard work.
And you guys are going to see a little bit of that. He did some high repetition hex bar deadlifts today, kicked some serious butt, but we're just getting started.
Yes, we are. Thanks.
So here we got Bryan doing some hex bar deadlifts. I love hex bar deadlifts for many people. Barrier to entry is really low and you can load up some weight. And especially for people, in the geriatric population, Bryan isn't quite there, but it's really important to load that hip joint really heavily to increase bone mineral density. You can actually reduce the progression of osteopenia, which is a loss of bone mineral density, and even reverse it and reverse osteoporosis if you load your bones. Just supplementing with calcium and vitamin D is not enough. Our bones respond just like our muscles do, as do our connective tissues, to stress. So it's really important for people to continue to strength train as they get older to avoid hip fracture and falls. And here we have Kobe and my lovely wife playing.
Good morning, my fellow beasts. We're doing some cardio. Got a late start to today, Thursday. I'm not in the clinic, which is really nice because yesterday was a super long day. I didn't upload yesterday because there wasn't really a whole lot, although I do have an interesting client success story that I'm excited to upload. So yesterday and today's vlog will be uploaded as one video. Still gonna try to keep it to that 10-minute mark, just so it doesn't get to be too much. But we're gonna do some cardio, then posing for check-ins. I'm doing check-ins twice a week now, on Thursdays and on Sundays. So looking forward to that. I'm thinking we're making some progress. I feel like I'm looking tighter. Gonna weigh myself in just a minute here. And I think we're moving in the right direction. Been super disciplined on my diet. Then after that, we're going to the grocery store. Gonna pick up some cool stuff to make a delicious breakfast and a delicious dinner for my wife because she's pregnant. And weird thing for me on prep is I love making people like really decadent food. She's in a place where she can really afford to enjoy that, and I get to live vicariously through her. So that's going to be fun. I'm thinking probably eggs Benedict because that's her favorite. And then for dinner, we're going to do a stuffed chicken cutlet with prosciutto, uh, some cheese, maybe some olives. I don't know. I'm going to just take a look around the grocery store and see what calls out to me. And then either going to keep it simple with like a cream of mushroom soup on the top. That's the way my dad did it when I was younger, and I absolutely loved it. Or I might try to make a beurre blanc, but we'll see. I don't know if my culinary expertise extends that far. But we're also training back today, so there will be some training footage. It's going to be back and chest today, mostly lats and chest. And then on Friday, I'm going to take another rest day because I am feeling pretty beat up. And I'm checking out Colorado Iron Gym, which is a gym that's opening up officially this Saturday in Colorado Springs that my coach Dylan Blum and his buddy Christian Mellett are opening up. So I'm super excited to check that out. Definitely going to pick up a t-shirt and hopefully a sick pump too. So really looking forward to that. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. See you guys.
So here we got posing practice after fasted cardio. My legs are feeling really fatigued, and you'll see that my balance kind of suffers here, especially on my back poses. But overall, I was pretty happy. I hit a new low body weight today of 227.8, so finally broke that 228 mark, and I'm hoping to just continue chugging right along. Front relax, I thought looked pretty good. This lighting is about as unflattering as it can get, so I like it because it exposes any and all weaknesses. And I think by and large, I was pretty happy with my posing today. I felt like I um, rotated really well through that side pose and I kept my glutes tight. I do tend to lose my hamstrings on my back pose. My glutes stay engaged, but I also have this weird habit of hiking up my right shoulder. You can kind of see it there. I don't know why I do that, but I'm working on fixing it. So it feels like I'm pulling down through my lat, but in reality, I'm hiking up through my trap. This pose, I think I could have stood to rotate a little bit more through my shoulders and maybe drop that right shoulder down a little bit, but all in all, pretty good. Front double bicep, I feel like, is one of my stronger poses, and I thought it looked pretty good today. I think my quad sweep is really coming in, and my waist is starting to trim up now finally, which will really help with my taper. That seems to be the last spot where I'm losing fat these days is around my midsection, my low back, and then my lower chest. Side chest I thought looked pretty good. The glute striations, you can kind of see them all the way around the greater trochanter of the femur, so that's pretty cool. I've never had that before. Side tricep, again, I think that's another strong pose for me. I really like the way that one looked today, and I did a good job keeping my glutes tense. Did a variation on it. Didn't love it. I think the other way is probably the way for me to go. Um, and then here with, I think this is the abs and thighs. I feel like I'm getting a lot more consistent with how I'm hitting this now that I look down to double check to make sure I'm posing correctly. But I think I'm crunching maybe a little bit too much. I don't want my torso to look squat and short, so I might try to just half crunch going forward. And then I thought the lat spread looked pretty decent today. Got to keep the legs on line, but it's always a work in progress. And most muscular, I always feel like this one looks a lot better when I'm in the mirror than when I take a video, but I thought it looked halfway decent there. I like doing the hands clasp variation. And here, I get my lower body set up really well for the back double bicep. My right foot might be a little bit too far back. My hips are a little rotated, but getting a little bit of Christmas tree, and then looks like the tree is about to fall down because as I open up through my upper body, I really start to lose my balance. And that's why it's so important to practice your posing regularly, because this is not something you want to have up on stage. God forbid you're losing your balance when a critical decision is being made, and that costs you a placing or 3 or 4, depending on the size of your class. Lat spread looked pretty good, but again, I think I need to dig out my hamstrings. Hopefully that'll come in as I get leaner too. And then finishing off with my favorite classic pose. This is always my go-to, and I thought that looked fairly strong there too. So all in all, pretty happy with today's posing. Thursdays, I don't go into the clinic. I do all of my athlete check-ins and program updates. Every Thursday, we do check-ins for all of my athletes, and then if they're in prep, they check in at least twice a week. As we get closer, it goes up to daily and then even twice daily. I love this part of my job. I I really like taking a day to answer all of the messages for my clients and really give them my undivided attention. And so for today's workout, our major multi-joint exercise was a high incline shoulder chest press. Um, and this weight was moving a lot easier just a few months ago. But again, it's just a matter of pushing that intensity as hard as you can so that your body has a reason to hang on to that tissue. So my pressing is always a thing that suffers, but that doesn't mean that we just phone it in because we're not feeling as strong as we were. Then we got into some lateral delt flies. You can see I set the axle up pretty high to really emphasize the stretch position. For that reason, there's no reason to pause at the top because your shoulder isn't really under a whole lot of torque at the top. You really want to pause in that bottom position. Take your time, really feel that stretch. This is one of my favorite delt exercises, and we did 4 sets here. I also did a flat bench press, but I didn't record that. I just knocked it out and moved on to this one. And after that, we have an incline dumbbell fly. And again, I really try to emphasize that stretch position, squeezing my shoulder blades together to really open up the pecs. And I don't come all the way up because the pecs aren't really under a ton of tension at the top. Your serratus is probably doing a little bit more work, which is fine. But for my purposes, I want to keep all the pressure on the pecs. And Tyler is one of my clients. He was able to train with me today, so that was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Got a little zoom in action there on my titties. So that's just for your pleasure. We finished up the workout with some unilateral tricep pushdowns, overhead tricep extensions, and then 1 set of dips to failure. It wound up being a great workout. I'm excited to see what happens as I continue to dry out and lean out. The show goes on. And then for dinner, my wife is pregnant and not in prep, so I got to make her a delicious stuffed chicken breast with prosciutto, sauteed mushrooms and onions, and Swiss cheese in a cutlet, and it was a great night. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.